Hello, welcome in. I am here to talk to you today about being a woman in a man's world. And I would like to talk about how much I love men. It might seem like that topic doesn't have a place in a conversation about men taking over. However, it is extraordinarily frustrating to be the only woman in the room, and it is extraordinarily frustrating to be kind of dismissed a lot. However, I love men. Men are wonderful. For example, me and my Starbucks were just down the street at the Starbucks getting our coffee, waiting for someone who didn't show up, and it was a woman. And she just, I'm just sitting there, and this guy comes in. Older guy, not attractive, not attracted to him, just walking in, saying hello to the staff, saying hello to people. And he turns and looks me dead in the face and looks at me in the eye and says, "Good morning." And I was like, damn, if this man was even slightly attractive and not 150 years old, I would have been like, Mike, who? Mike's my dude. Because that shit's sexy. And men, I love men. I really want to talk about how much I love men because we're going to talk a lot about men, you know, men doing their thing, being themselves. There's nothing wrong with what men are doing. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. They're providing for their families. But, there's a lot that goes into that, and they don't know what they're doing because they're not a woman. And they're doing what's natural to them. So anyway, this guy was doing what was natural to him. He was a gentleman. He was showing a woman some attention. And let's be honest, ladies, we love our attention. At least I do. I'm a Leo, so it is what it is. I love attention. Not obnoxious attention, not negative attention, not attention at any cost, but when you're telling me how pretty I am or that you like my outfit or you're just looking me in the face, acknowledging that I'm a human being that's alive, let's go. But anyway, moving on. So I want to talk about why men are amazing and why men are just being men. Men are innately providers, protectors, and they always have a good reason for doing everything that they're doing, even if it doesn't make any fucking sense to the ladies in the room. Like zero. Like, for example, when I was talking to you about the guys helping me in the room in the sales meeting, I need to talk better today. In the sales meeting, like I said in that, they were super nice. They're nice people, but also fuck you. You know what I mean? But they were thinking, oh, we want to help her. Men are just innately trying to help you. So when we take it from the man was trying to help us way, we can take some of our ego out of it and some of our, the hurt that we got from that and like, really, bro? And just go, well, his heart was in the right place. That doesn't mean I have to accept it or deal with it anymore. But I also have to approach it in a way from that because then that guy's never going to help me again. That guy's going to have a negative taste in his mouth with me. He's never going to show up and just be like, "Hey, Gail, I saw you were struggling with the printer," or Bob said that you needed support on this line of business, and that's my specialty. And if you run around telling everybody what assholes they are for trying to help you, then no one's going to want to help you. So, in order to avoid being the bitter female, because we're not bitter, we love men. We love men probably more than they actually think we do. We love having the door opened for us and we love having them fix the printer and lift heavy things. And you know what? If it is your line of business that's your specialty and I don't know shit about it, please come in and help me. I'm a team player. I love selling on teams. If there's someone else that's good at something that I'm trying to do that I'm not necessarily good at, or they have an in with the client, but they want me to work with them on it. Let's go. Uh, Half of whatever it is better than zero of nothing. So, and it's less work for everybody, and it's better for the client this way. Just it is what it is. I love team selling. As long as the person isn't looking at you like, I have, the anchor here that I have to drag around with me because she's a woman or because she doesn't know as much as me or whatever their attitude problem is, in which case, don't sell with them. But most men, at least most men that I know, are literally there. They're trying to help. They're trying to be supportive. They're trying to be men. Men are singularly focused. They're there, they're show up every day in their job, in their life with their families to provide and protect and to make everybody's life easier. They want to help us. They want to make us happy. I have gotten into many an argument with my man, and only to realize that he's only mad at me because he can't solve the problem. And he's frustrated that I'm still complaining about it. Like I had presented the issue to him like it's a work issue. Like, how the fuck am I expecting you to fix it? But, he is like gets mad at me and starts yelling at me because that's how he expresses himself. It's just like my dad. Don't say it. Um, he expresses himself and, he gets frustrated and he'll just kind of like sputter and yell and just be like, I don't know how to fix that problem. I don't know what you want me to do. Stop fucking talking to me about it. Instead of saying, something supportive like, gee, that sucks, or gee, I'm sorry that's happening to you, or whatever. Instead, he yells, which is fine because I know, thanks to my dad acting the same way, I know that when he's yelling, it's usually because he can't get to an end result that he's trying to get to. So, or he's worried about me. Oh my God. I have a funny story about my dad. So, my mom dropped me off at the train long time ago when I was living in the city and I didn't have a car. I came down, whatever, to hang out with my mom. And then she dropped me back off at the train. And I'm sitting at the train station and this like um, horrible weather system, tornado-like kind of thing came in. It wasn't a tornado, but it was really crazy. And so my dad calls me and he never calls me ever. Now he does, but back in the day, he never called me. So he calls me and he's like, "Where's your mother?" Like screaming at me. And he did everything but motherfuck me, and he might as well have. He let loose on me. Your mother shouldn't be driving. Like, why would you let her? Like screaming at me, like literally screaming at me. It was a rare occurrence that my dad has talked to me that way since I've been an adult. And so later that day or the next day, I talked to my mom and she started laughing. And she was like, "Oh, your dad." And at first I was pissed because I was like, "Excuse me? Like, how are we like excusing this behavior?" And she was like, "Oh, your dad, he does that whenever he gets worried. And it's fine. I wish he wouldn't do that." And then the light bulb went on, and I was like, oh. And then multiple different situations in my life popped in my head when he lost his ever-loving shit on me. Like the first day I drove a car, I flipped it. Oh, yeah. Yes. Good times. He sent me to my room without dinner, screamed. I thought he was going to beat the shit out of me. Like he was so angry and it didn't, and that I was 16 and it was until I was like, I think 25 or something, 23. I don't know, whatever this was, the situation with the weather system was with my mom for me to understand why he was such a dick to me that day. I just thought he was pissed because I ruined the car that I had paid for it. So it was out of my pocket. Or maybe he was embarrassed or like, I didn't understand why he was so angry, like screaming his bloody head off. And then I realized, oh, he was worried about me. So that is a man protecting the person that he loves, his kid, his wife, his sister, his mom, like whatever. his best friend, whatever. That is how men show up. So, knowing that when we're in a boardroom, when we're in a sales situation, when we're asking for help, when we're getting unsolicited help, we have to take it from the place that they really are trying to help us. They really are trying to be nice and trying to support us because most of them are really good dads to girls and brothers to a sister and, husbands to their wives and sons to their moms. Like they want to take care of the women in their life. And it's just natural for them to reach a helping hand out. So we can't swat their hands away when they try to open the door or when they tell us that our sales process sucks. Now, I may or may not have words with them and say something to them about that because it was a little bit fucked up that I was singled out, the little girl in the room. However, I know that they were all trying to be helpful. And I'm not, as much as it pissed me off and was hurtful, I'm also, they didn't, they weren't trying to be hurtful. They weren't trying to shoo me out of the room, but I'm not going back to that meeting again. So this is how I'm handling it. I won't be going back to that sales meeting again because it's just a bunch of men pontificating about how great their sales are and me listening to their sales, listening to them talk about trading sales without me in the room and none of them sharing them with me, and then having them tell me about what I'm doing wrong. So if I want help, I know these men will help me. But I don't need to waste an hour of my day sitting in a room listening to them pontificate about how great they are. They can do that to each other. They enjoy that, like slapping each other on the back and being broing out. And then maybe they'll have more fun without having to mind their manners with the girl in the room. And I won't have to waste an hour listening to it. So everybody wins. And when I need help, I know that this room full of wonderful men will be there to help me. I will not, however, tolerate being talked down to, condescended to, told that I'm a new, or talked to like I'm new at sales or new at my job or new at insurance or, it's not like I was like brand new to the company or like, oh, hey, this is the process we use, by the way, because you're doing it this way. Probably that's how you did it at your old company. No, they were just talking to me about how my sales process sucked. And they were respectful about it, but also fuck you. I'm not an idiot. I'm an executive in middle market. Like I'm not, trying to sell Bob the Builder, the handyman, his first, business owner's policy that's 500 bucks. Like I know what I'm doing. I don't know everything, but I'm good. And when I need help, it's a great place to go. If I ever need help, I will go into the sales meeting with a direct question to ask the group. And if they condescend to me because I'm a girl, I will go into it knowing that that is how they're just going to talk to me. And that's okay with me because I know that they don't do it because they're assholes. They do it because they're genuinely trying to get a point across to me and genuinely trying to help me. And if it ever gets to the point where it's really disrespectful instead of just, men being men, then I will point it out and I will say, I didn't appreciate the tone. I am a grown ass woman. Please speak to me with respect. I've done it many times. I don't tolerate anybody's bullshit, but also I know when to start a problem and when not to. Men, and I know when men are just trying to be helpful and nice and kind and lovely, and when men are trying to be assholes. And I have been around all of them. If they're dismissing me and telling me they don't want me in the room and like, talking over me and, you know, managing me, that is not something that I would tolerate. But in this particular instance, just try to have discernment as a woman that men are not really trying to be mean, be disrespectful, be hurtful, be dismissive. Most of the time, they truly do think that this is the best course of action to teach you, to help you, and to really be beneficial. Men, if you tell a man, like for example, I was rushing around and it was because of my guy. And I forgot that I had two bouquets of flowers in the back of my car. They sat there for about 15 hours. And I figured it out as I was about to go home. And I was like, oh my God. And he knows how much I love fresh flowers. So I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, that's annoying because I have to wait a whole week to go back to the farmer's market to get these particular flowers. They last long, they don't die within 3 days like the crap from the grocery store. So, which I refused to buy. And so I saw him a couple of days later and he presented me with a bouquet of my favorite flowers. Like he just wanted to make me happy. He felt bad. That's what men are doing. Men want to be helpful. Men want to protect and provide. So when we're in situations with men, we have to really try to use our discernment and our compassion and think, okay, I have to see this guy again because I work with him, or I'm trying to get his business, or we network together. So instead of just immediately going into our egos and just going, that guy's an asshole, maybe he is, in which case, feel free to tell him so. But try to use your discernment. Do you think this guy is a good guy? Do you think he's trying to help me? And unfortunately, women have to do a lot more of this work because men are just out doing their thing and everybody else has to deal with it. It is what it is. You're not going to change the entirety of the male population. So just make yourself feel better, give yourself some peace, use your discernment, pop your ego out of your brain for a hot second and just use the questions. Is he trying to help me? Is he trying to make me happy? Is he a decent human being? Is this the right course of action? Is it actually helpful? Was it in a condescending tone? Was it disrespectful? Was it dismissive? Like, come up with some questions that you can use in whatever your situations are and just see if, maybe the guy was really trying to be helpful, in which case, thank him. Honestly, thank the guy. Hey, thank you so much for trying to help me. I really appreciate that. It, by the way, was not helpful. I don't need to learn how to do sales, but I do appreciate you trying to help. And that will probably be a conversation I have with one or two of them because they were trying to be helpful. I'm also not going back to that sales meeting. It's just not happening. But I used my discernment after I took my ego out of it, after I got a little butthurt, I took my ego out of it, and I realized that men are generally just really good people trying to be helpful. And these particular men, especially, are great at their jobs and love the company and want the company to do well. So that's the thing. So use your discernment with men, use your compassion with men because men really are good people and good human beings, and we love men. I love men. I've had many a man help me. Many a man has come to my defense, supported me, helped me along the way. Like my first boss in insurance was a terrible teacher, but man, was he a good guy. And when it made sense to me, he was always there to help me. He was always there to support me. And we still share deals. Like he's just a great human. But, also a man. So I have to figure out how to work with them, how to talk to them, and everybody's personalities are different. It's hard being woman. We have a lot of fucking work to do. We have to manage everybody. It's very hard. But once you figure out how to take your ego out of situations and how to have discernment and how to ask yourself these questions, a lot of the times these situations can just roll off your back and they will actually become beneficial for both you and the man. So, I hope this was helpful. I'm going to talk about this again because it's so important to me because I love men and I'm very grateful for all of the wonderful men in my life. And maybe a man will watch this and go, oh, maybe we don't have to tell them what to do all the time. I don't know. Is it actually I do have one more story. And it's very funny. I sometimes do need a man to tell me what to do. For example, I my air conditioning went out recently and I was trying to figure out how to do it. And so I called my ex, who's my current whatever. It wasn't my current at the time. And he sent me his heating and air guy. Guy comes over, tells me that I had to change the filter and was kind of like judging me a little bit. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I just thought because it was in the furnace that I only had to do that in the winter. And he was like, yeah, no, you have to do that every month. And I was like, oh, whoops. I'm like, I didn't know. And what was in my head was, I guess I need a man to tell me what to do because I don't understand household stuff. That's for men. That is very old fashioned of me. I don't fucking care. I need a man around for some of that shit. So in my head, I said, oh, I guess I need a man to tell me what to do, like making a joke. But what came out of my mouth was, oh, I guess I need a man. And then I was so embarrassed and mortified that I froze. And he just kind of looked at me like, so anyway, here's your bill. Oh, so embarrassed. So afterwards, I called my ex and I was like, so thank you so much for sending Jeff over. Super nice. By the way, I may or may not have accidentally told him I needed a man on accident. So I had a good laugh at that. I still think it's hysterical. I still need a man to tell me what to do when it comes to some of the household stuff because I can't know everything and I don't want to work on the furnace. If you are a woman and you want to know how to do all that stuff, good for you. I do not. I do not. So anyway, he didn't think it was that funny. I thought it was hysterical. And yeah, so sometimes I need a man. And in my sales process, it's not that. I hope you have a great day. I hope this helped. We're going to talk about how much we love men and how much men are frustrating and sales and all the energetics of sales and all the things. So stay tuned. Thank you for being here and I love you.